Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nina. I am a transformation coach, healer, spiritualist, free spirit, all of the things, okay? And I love making content for you here on YouTube and also on Patreon. If you are new here and want to subscribe, you can go ahead and click that button below. Also go ahead and head over to Patreon if you're interested in having more in-depth conversations, readings, all that other stuff. Also TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, okay? We're out here. Today's video is going to be all about love and the different ways in which love is classified, especially from a spiritual sense. We have different ways that we classify intimate relationships. And when I say that, I mean intimate, not necessarily always sexual, but very close relationships. So not platonic in the sense of a coworker or something like that, more or like a stranger in the grocery store, right? This is something that's more intimate. So we have 4 main classifications that I want to go through today. There may be more that you have heard of or whatever, but they all usually fit into these 4 categories. So we have soulmates, karmic partners, divine partners, and we have twin flames. So I'm gonna start with soulmates, which is the most common out of all of them. Keep in mind that this is not a hierarchy. So even though I did this, don't think it's a hierarchy because I have a bone to pick with twin flames, which is the last one that we're gonna talk about. So it is in no means a hierarchy, but I am going based off of, like, statistically speaking, how likely you would be to come across this particular person within your life, and you're more likely to come across more soulmates than any of the other ones. So that's why I'm starting with soulmates. So what is a soulmate? Everyone has a definition, right? And the way that I define a soulmate is someone that's made up of the same stuff as you, right? The same energy as you, that comes from the same soul family as you. So a soulmate can be your dog, right? A soulmate could be your best friend. A soulmate could be your mom. A soulmate could be a coworker that just so happens to be super dope, right? And you guys just vibe and mesh so well. From the same soul family that came here and incarnated into whatever body they incarnated into and decided to do it at the same time as you. An intimate sexual partner can be a soulmate as well as something else too, so keep that in mind. So let's move on to karmic partners. Unfortunately, this is something that a lot of people do encounter in their life. Less so than soulmates, but definitely a lot of people encounter this in their lives, maybe more than one. What we need to understand is we need to go back and think about karma, right? Because that's the first word, karmic. So karma can be good or bad, and I use air quotes because good and bad are not necessarily something that I like, words that I like to use, because those words are polarity and they don't exist outside of the 3D. So I try not to use those words, but for the sake of simplicity and the sake of this video, I'm going to use the words good and bad. When we talk about good and bad karma, none of it necessarily matters because all of it is a learning lesson and it's all to teach you. It all is you reaping what it is that you sow. In the sense of a karmic partner, this is someone that your higher self, right, your self before you came into this body, you decided that you needed to learn specific lessons in this life. And you decided that in order to learn these lessons, you had to learn them through painful experiences. And you're thinking, well, why would I do that? Why do I need pain? Well, there are 2 ways that I classify how we learn as human beings. There's pain and there's presence. The majority of people learn through pain. Why? Because the majority of people do not know what it is to be present, to be truly present, to be fully present. And for the most part, we need someone or something or some catalyst to wake us up, right? To get us going and moving in the direction that our soul needs to move in order to grow. So with that being said, this karmic partner, you agreed that these things would happen so that you would grow. It would be a catalyst for you to grow in a certain direction that's going to help your soul evolve, because every life that you incarnate into, your goal is to learn more about yourself through relating to others. Toxic boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, abusive behavior, narcissistic behavior, all of that. Karmic partners, how you can recognize one is this partner was a catalyst in your life, and being with them shifted the way that you viewed yourself and the way that you viewed life. So it's a very big shift, and it can alter your entire world, like your entire reality. Now let's move on to divine partners. Divine partners are my favorite because they embody the other kind of way that we learn as human beings, which is through presence. So instead of the painful way, when we get to the point of meeting a divine partner, if we're lucky enough, we end up learning lessons through presence with this partner. You as a whole, or getting towards whole individual, because we aren't fully integrated until we leave this body. However, for the sake of the video, we'll say whole individual. We have another whole individual, and they come together and they're able to create something amazing that changes and shifts the world that they're in because of both of their presence, both of their ability to be present, and both of their wholeness together, right? So they're working together. And that is why I think divine partners are the most powerful. Now, with a divine partner, it's not as likely that you're gonna run into one in, this lifetime or whatever lifetime, but it's possible. It's not like it's impossible. It's definitely possible. And a lot of people do run into their divine partners. However, it takes learning from experiences that are likely brought on for most people by a karmic partner in order to be at the stage where you're present enough to attract your divine partner or your divine counterpart. And everyone, unfortunately, doesn't get there in one life or whatever life they're on. Sometimes they don't get there. Sometimes it takes a couple more lives, 1,000 more lives, 100 more lives, 5 more lives, whatever it takes for you individually to come across this individual or this person. Now let's get into twin flames. And I'm sure you guys have heard about twin flames everywhere, and everyone thinking that everyone is their twin flame, or that their person is their twin flame. But in reality, they're the least likely to come across. In my opinion, they're the most problematic. The idea of a twin flame is a mirroring soul, or a soul that has been split into two people, you being one of them, this other person being the other one. Now, I believe this is problematic because I do believe that it sensationalizes and glamorizes certain toxic things, and I'll tell you how in a moment. So with your half and that person's half coming together or attempting to come together to make wholeness, there is to be trials and tribulations, and it's a tower moments type of energy, but like extended, and it's very dramatic and just extra, and running and chasing someone, and it gets to the point where it gets so glamorized, and it can be very toxic, because if you're constantly chasing someone that you think is your twin flame and they're actually a karmic partner, now you're giving yourself a more painful experience. And even if they are your twin flame, at what point does it become toxic? And at what point do you need, where's the line? You know what I mean? So for me, I prefer not to use that term, because I do feel like that term can, in a sense, glamorize and sensationalize toxic relationships for the sake of it being your twin flame. And I also don't vibe with the idea of being a half of a soul. Regardless of what label you put on this person, if they are displaying toxic behaviors, you need to leave and get yourself together and let that person get themselves together, not chase them because, oh, they're the runner right now and I gotta chase them. No, like it's toxic. If someone is displaying toxic behavior, no matter what you call them, if it's a divine partner, if it's a soulmate, if they are displaying toxic behavior, that is a moment where you've got to remove yourself from the situation. I don't care what you label them, you know what I mean? So that is my bone that I have to pick with twin flames, and the idea of twin flames. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have encountered a twin flame or a karmic partner or anything like that, or if this was helpful, and if you have any ideas for future videos. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell if you like this content, and I will see you guys in the next video.